All right, welcome everybody. We are now live. I have a very special AMA live stream interview today. We have the Levana Protocol Team with us. We do have Jonathan and Elon. Welcome, Jonathan and Elon. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedules to be here in Crypto Empire and tell us about Levana Protocol. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So before we kind of get into Levana and how you guys are totally changing up DeFi, Levana, by the way, stands for leverage any asset. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourselves, kind of personally, and how you fit in with the Levana team?
Sure. I'll go first. I'm Jonathan. I've been in crypto since 2016. I was or I am a partner at a crypto hedge fund, and was investing in DeFi before DeFi was a term. I did a lot of work in the scaling space and in core cryptography, and in NFTs and gaming. So I've had over the last 5 years an opportunity to really address a very broad aspect of the industry and to bring a lot of those thoughts and evolutions of those thoughts to the table on within the Levana DAO. And so very, very excited to be a part. And my role is communication. So you might have seen me in previous podcasts or recorded at conferences. I'm usually the voice of what I would say right now is a pretty large group of people, most of which are a lot smarter than I am.
Beautiful. Well, pleasure to have you. Thank you very much.
Sure. So I'll go next. I'm Milan. I'm on the marketing team at Levana. I'm living my dream. I'm doing what I love. I've been in crypto since 2017, and just was an investor and an enthusiast, and now I'm on the Levana team, and I'm really super excited about what we're bringing to the table and the concept of DeFitainment, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and what we're doing with the Dragons NFT game is just really, really exciting and really fun to be working for such an interesting protocol. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Amazing. Well, thank you and welcome, Elon. So now that everybody knows who you guys are, let's kind of get into the meat of everything. I have a lot of questions. I'm sure our live audience has a lot of questions as well. So before we get into DeFitainment, it's important. We have a lot of newer people, brand new to Levana Protocol watching right now. Could you just pretty much summarize Levana and how you guys are making leverage or enabling leverage in a decentralized way on the Terra blockchain? Just kind of a brief summary of Levana Protocol.
Sure. Levana is a suite of different technologies. So the first one is a technology called LLI, leveraged index tokens, or Levana leverage index tokens. And that's based off of the flexible leverage index tokens, which are found on Ethereum, and a broader spectrum leverage index tokens, which can be found on centralized trading platforms such as FTX or Binance or Huobi, etc. And essentially what that is it's a way to purchase a single token that represents partial ownership in a basket, and that basket is using a lending platform to take collateral and then use it to purchase more of a certain asset so that there is more than 100% exposure. Like, for example, if I am sitting with just stable coins, you could say I have no exposure to the Luna token. Now, if I take half of my bag, half of my stable coins, and I buy Luna, you could say, well, I have 50% exposure to Luna. Now, if I took my whole bag and I bought Luna with all my stable coins, I would have 100% exposure. But what happens if after you have 100% exposure, if you were to go to a bank, and we probably, or a lending platform more accurately, and you were to use that Luna that you bought as collateral, and then to borrow more Luna, or to borrow more stable coins and then use those stable coins to to purchase Luna. So now that basket, the position that you have, you could be 150% exposed to Luna. You could be 200% exposed to Luna, 300% exposed to Luna. Now, obviously, you're taking on risk if you do that, because if the price moves in your favor, then obviously you will grow the value of your position will grow greater than the percentage increase in the individual asset if you were only 100% exposed. But at the same time, if the market moves against you, then you're going to lose faster as well. And you will, because you're actually using lending in order to generate the leverage, you could get wiped out if your collateral dropped below the collateral threshold that most DeFi lending platforms have, which can either be 65%, 60%, or some of them are as low as 50%. Your loan to value ratio. And so what a flexible leverage index does is it automatically performs the actions of depositing into a lending platform. So you come with your token, it gets lent or it gets used as collateral, automatically stablecoins are borrowed against it, automatically the asset that you wanted exposure to is purchased, and then that happens a few times over until you have roughly 2x exposure. And then if the market starts to move against the position and there's risk of liquidation, then as long as it doesn't happen as like a flash crash, then there's enough time for the system to slowly unwind the position to help lower the likelihood, at least statistically lower the likelihood that there will be a liquidation, meaning that you will lose all of your assets or a great portion of your assets. And then also in the positive direction, if the market moves in your favor, and you have the ability to now borrow more because your collateral is worth more, so then the leverage index position will automatically increase the amount of that you're borrowing and then repurchasing against your collateral. So it works in both ways, and it balances this out through a series of algorithms that then are optimized over time. So that was a mouthful, and hopefully it wasn't too technical for the listeners. But in short, that's a very popular way. It goes back literally hundreds of years. There's people were doing this in order to create leverage since banks existed, and even before computers existed. People there's cases from biblical times of people doing this with banks or with money changers. So it's it's something that predates crypto, obviously.
Yes.
And what Levana does is automates this process, simplifies this process, distills it into a token, which the first token that the Levana Protocol plans to bring to market is the Luna 2X.
Yes.
And then so that's one technology that's been developed by the developers at the Levana DAO. And another is a very exciting and very flexible. It's a type of marketplace. It's a type of exchange which is called a perpetual swap. And I'm not going to get into exactly how perpetual swaps work. It's a type of almost a predictions market, a continuous predictions market, where people that want to have long positions are essentially speculating against people that want to have short positions, and then you have enough of these people on both sides of the trade so that you can have a synthetic exposure to the price movement of literally any asset. And that's where the concept, when we started looking at, what was a good name for a perpetual swap, because with a perpetual swap you really can create leverage on any asset, and so that's kind of where the name Levana came from.
Right. Well, thank you for that. That was definitely a lot of information and a lot of golden nuggets in there for sure. And as a trader myself that uses leverage, I'm highly looking forward to using Levana. Obviously, there's some other DeFi leverage trading protocols out there, DYDX for example. But obviously you guys are taking kind of a different approach to doing this. And of course, you're on Terra, so I'm a big fan of Luna, so that's great as well. Now, for this interview, for this live stream, I don't want to spend too much time on kind of the technical trading leverage side of Levana. Obviously, that's a main aspect of your guys' protocol, but I'm more interested in the gamification of DeFi and how you guys plan on incorporating these NFTs, right? I'll pull up the marketplace right now of Random Earth, just so anybody watching right now has a better idea of what these NFTs actually are. So just for anybody watching who's brand new, I'll let you, Jonathan, kind of speak about the Meteor launch that took place. But these are the meteors. These are the NFT meteors that you can actually go ahead and crack open and possibly get a dragon egg or meteor dust. And now, if you could...
I apologize, Connor, but I'm having trouble seeing your screen. Elon, are you also?
I'm not seeing your screen. I'm seeing us, but on the screen I see just the Levana website.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there it goes.
It adjusted?
I see it on the YouTube video, which I'm watching side by side.
Okay. That might be my Streamlabs then. My streaming software might be, or just the, I'm not sure, but if the YouTube guests can see
as long as the watchers can, the viewers can view it, then that's fine. I was looking at it 10 times today, so I know what it looks like.
If our chat can just let us know if you guys can see the Random Earth marketplace here. There's some messages in the chat, please. But continue, guys. I'm sure we'll sort this out.
Yeah, Elon, do you want to talk a little bit about the meteor shower and how it came to market?
Yeah, sure. And by the way, I'm watching the live stream as well, so I see the meteor, so we're good. The meteor shower was amazing. It was a really unique way of doing an NFT launch. Is basically what it was. We have a very comprehensive recap of the meteor shower, which is chock full of information, which anybody can read. It's on our blog. But to give kind of a wide summary. It was almost like a live game, sort of a live bidding game, where there was meteors in different tiers, as you can see now. There was the common meteors, the rare meteors, the ancient meteors, and the legendary meteors. Yeah. And in these meteors, there were a chance to win a dragon egg. There were minted 8,888 dragon eggs. And during the meteor shower, we had just over 6,300 people participate. And they were essentially bidding on these meteors that were coming down from the sky, like as if. And it was incredible. I mean, it was a 44-hour long event. We had 20 people who stayed up for every single hour. Because you could only bid, once an hour. So there was different strategies for bidding, because you were kind of bidding against other people to win a different level of meteor. So it's really, really interesting. It was just like a fun game that everybody kind of got sucked into playing. And all of the funds that were raised are going towards our first product, which is the first LLI token that Jonathan just spoke about, the Luna Leveraged Index token, and that the first one is the Luna 2X token. So all of the funds that we raised went to a pool, or are going to a pool, to allow people to trade in and out of Luna 2X. So it was a huge. Just
to be completely accurate, we did give royalties to the NFT to the game designers and NFT creators, which is a big part of focusing on the creator economy.
Right, and absolutely. Some of the funds went to them, but the majority of the funds went to the LLI pool. So we had a large number of people participate, win the different meteors. After a little bit after the meteor shower, we opened a cracking station where you could then crack the meteor and see what you got inside. And Connor, I saw a video where you were cracking some of your meteors. Maybe you want to talk about the experience. I mean, I had a similar experience. We all did on the team, and we didn't have any backdoor. There was no way for us to get meteors other than participating in the game. All of the team of Levana. So I would love, everybody was like, it was like Christmas morning, opening your presents.
It was.
You were cracking your meteors and seeing what was inside, and these beautiful, either dragon eggs or meteor dust, which definitely have a lot of utility. So I would love to get your feedback. I mean, I really loved it, and I was part of it. But what would you say was your experience of cracking those meteors?
Yeah, I would say I had an amazing experience. I participated in the meteor shower. I didn't do all 44 hours. I only did a few hours, right? I only had 4 meteors in that video for that specific wallet. But nonetheless, it was flawless. Like I've been a part of a few token launches, NFT launches as well, and it was unlike anything I've seen before with the 44-hour meteor shower. So kudos to you guys for executing on that. And then the cracking as well. There was like a 3-week kind of, or I don't know how long it was, a few week wait period between getting your the meteor shower, and then being able to crack it. So there was a lot of anticipation there. And then when the cracking day came, obviously, like you described, at Christmas morning, right? You can't wait to crack it open, see if you're going to get an egg or the meteor dust. And funny enough, if you guys watched the video, I know you did. I had crazy luck. I had 3 out of 4 meteors have eggs in them, and there's only 8,888 dragon eggs total. So crazy odds.
Nice. What I've really enjoyed is that people who only found out about the meteor shower afterwards, they were still able to go onto the secondary market like Random Earth and then pick up half a dozen or a dozen meteors, and then go to meteors.levana.finance and then actually crack them open, and then either get magic dust, which is used as part of the game, or get eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're so excited about, what the next stage of the evolution is the nesting of the eggs.
Yes.
Where you essentially are taking an egg, you're putting it into your cave on the same website, meteors.levana.finance, and then you're pouring the matching dust, and there's a whole article to figure out what dust is matching, and people went onto Discord and they had to trade dust, and people were saying, oh, I need this type of dust, who has it? I have this type of dust and I'll trade it for you. And so there's this whole social interaction that was actually how the game was designed, with the 32,000 bottles of magic dust versus the 9,000 eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's still something that's ongoing. And so we're just about to go live with the nesting, and we have right now about 5,000 people in the community that have worked really hard to get the matching magic dust with their egg.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll actually go in and then journey through the next stage of the evolution of the NFTs. And it's worth noting that in order to accomplish all of this, the Cosmos, which is the blockchain that Terra is the technology that the Terra blockchain is built on.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a standard for NFTs. And what was really interesting is that the Levana DAO team was able to extend the functionality and actually add new functionality that didn't pre-exist to the standard, which is this concept of evolutionary NFTs,
Mm-hmm.
where how you interact with the NFT on the blockchain, or how you merge 2 NFTs together, actually changes the metadata that's found within the NFTs. And then that's how we were able to accomplish things like now the egg is nesting, or you can pour a special potion on the egg, and then the baby dragon that will be born, in the near future will have blue eyes, or will have this type of scales, or this type of horns, or this type of tail or wings.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll actually, it's a type of NFT experience that's interactive, that's never been done before.
Absolutely, it is. I've never seen anything like it personally. Now, I mean, I've been in NFTs. I wish I really got into it when they first started popping off kind of over the summertime, but been getting into it a lot recently, and yeah, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Now, let's talk about the game you guys are building. How are these NFTs, these evolutionary NFTs, going to come together into a leveraged DeFi protocol? Like, where's the connection?
So in order to answer that, I want to step back and kind of talk about what's been somewhat the elephant in the room in the crypto space for, let's say, the last 18 months, if not 2 years. So as I said, I've been around since 2016, and since before DeFi was a term that had been coined on crypto Twitter. And if you had told me, even fast forward to when DeFi was like the big thing that's going to push crypto forward, and I was and still am very bullish on that. Like, let's say circa 2018, if you had told me that we would come, 4 years later, or let's say 3 years later, and pretty much all blue chip DeFi around the table would be 70-80% down, and forget about this recent pullback or market correction, because that's always natural and healthy for the market in general. But let's say just in general, to see things like even within the Terra ecosystem, Mirror and Anchor struggling to be at 30% of their heights. Things like Uniswap, Compound, Sushi, any of the top players in DeFi Pulse or the DeFi Pulse listing, all of them, not only have they failed to really capture value, and you capture value, primarily by increasing demand and decreasing supply. I mean, that's how markets work.
Right.
The core problem that DeFi has really had, at least in my opinion, and I think a lot of people share this with me, is that we've completely, as a community, failed to attract a massive audience, a new audience. If I go out and I look and I interview, let's say, and I've done this, I've like literally done this, and I interview 100, 150 people participating in DeFi today that are aping into new projects or are that are farming, and I ask them how long that they've been doing this. They've all been doing this for 2 years, or 95% of them. The DeFi community has become a mercenary community that's very good at identifying new projects, bringing liquidity to those new projects, farming the high APYs, and then dumping the governance token onto what's called pool two, or just general retail that's a little bit slower in the discovery period, and they dump it onto AMMs. They drain the liquidity, and then they move on. They rinse, wash, and repeat, and they just move on to the next project. So every project just goes through this life cycle where it does a bunch of, and I'm talking about every DeFi product, does a bunch of hype, builds up, tries its best to build up a community, offers crazy rewards, doesn't really put much effort into achieving product market fit. Because let's be honest, why would you need to achieve product market fit if you can just pay people to be your customers? And then and then the APYs dwindle because you can't just print free money for forever.
Yes.
And then everybody dumps and then moves on. And so then you end up with these huge spikes, and then these slowly trickles out, and then you end up with really quality projects like Synthetics or MakerDAO or a whole bunch of these that they're really quality projects, but they have dozens of dedicated users. They have maybe low thousands of monthly active users, and then even you can look at the on-chain metrics. You don't have to believe me here. It's a really concerning a picture as to where DeFi is holding today, because it's failed to bring new people into the space. And now, if you look at the entertainment sector of this industry, it's booming. Yeah, it is. I mean, the last 10 million people that went from being a no-coiner to a coiner, they didn't come because of DeFi. Pardon my French, they don't give a crap about DeFi. At least to the greater extent, what are they coming here for? They are buying, penguins and bulls and punks and apes, and pictures of phallic images with hats on it, or waifus, or whatever it is that they're getting. And I was at I'm a member of Flamingo DAO, which is the largest NFT investment group. It's it's 95% investment on Ethereum, very high end, very expensive NFTs, but it's been around since basically the beginning of the NFT craze. I was one of the early members and investors there.
Okay.
And if you I was in New York maybe 2 months ago at NFT NYC, and I was having dinner with Gary V, who recently got into NFTs and started minting his own NFTs. And we were just chatting, and I was chatting with some of the guys from his team, and we had a really interesting conversations. And one of the things that he said that I don't want to quote exactly, but so I'm like really paraphrasing here. But you talk to the average no coiner, and you explain to them that, hey, your money is in a bank, like your money is in Bank of America. Well, you should know that there's these coins on cryptocurrency, which are stable coins. And instead of getting 0.7% interest annually from your savings accounts or whatever it is that your bank is going to give you, probably 0.7 is gracious. Then if you convert your US dollars in the bank to a cryptocurrency, but it's a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the US dollar, hopefully, then you can put it into DeFi, and then you can get 7% interest, or in the case, obviously, of Anchor, which is an amazing product, and if you haven't tried that, you definitely should. You could get 20% interest annually on it. They're going to look at you like a deer in the headlights. Like, they look at you and they're like, I don't understand what you're talking about, but I definitely am not going to move money from my bank account. I'm not like dropping 50 grand from my bank account to like get 10% interest on like some weird app. But you come to them and you say, hey, you see this on my Apple Watch? This is a picture of a bored punk. And then swipe, here's a picture of my pudgy penguin. And then they go, oh, that's cute. And then they say, yeah, and I made $5,000 on one of these things. I just joined Discord, and I said good morning a bunch of times, and I got on a wait list. And then now I got a collector's item. And we all grew up with Magic the Gathering cards. We all grew up with baseball cards, like a rookie Jose Canseco or whatever it is. I don't actually know anything about baseball. And they go, oh, I get it. I spend most of my time on TikTok and on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook. I understand that people want to collect digital items, and I understand that blockchain now enables limited items within a digital space. It's not just you can't like. We can push the whole right-click JPEG conversation to the side, and they get it. And so then what do? Is they come on and they join Discord and they become engaged, and then they start asking about how to install a wallet as a Chrome extension, and they learn how to back up their seed phrase, and they learn about paying gas, and they learn about using their first dApp to mint. And then they learn about marketplaces, and then they get into bidding wars, and then they start flipping. And you know what they learned how to do through this whole thing? They learned how to use DeFi. Yep. Because all of it was DeFi, but it was DeFi that came through the sector of entertainment. Now, and the thing is that it has a total addressable market of hundreds of millions of people, whereas DeFi in its current state has been flatlined at around, somewhere between 10 to 50,000, a core audience.
Right, and so, no newcomers.
So that's the backdrop here. So I'll pause. I said a lot of things, but I'm curious if you've seen anything, or if Elon, if any of what I said resonates to you as to kind of like the two approaches to enter into the space, and which one has been succeeding and which one has been struggling.
Yeah, Elon, if you want to go first.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, everything, it sounds right because it is right. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been in DeFi. I'm a big fan of DeFi. I've got some crypto there, but, it can be fleeting. I know that, the high APYs and APRs, they tend to drop away. And then you've got a core community, and it's like, okay, if I haven't heard from my favorite DeFi project in a while, I kind of get bored, and I look to, you know, move my funds around or do something more exciting. Whereas gaming and gamification and you know, that is obviously the kind of killer app right now. I mean, everyone is excited about it. Everyone's doing NFTs. I have friends that were never into crypto before, but now they're talking to me about NFTs and minting their own NFTs and looking around and exploring the ecosystem. And it is, you know, that's what's going on. And so I think the idea of kind of merging DeFi and NFTs and gaming and this kind of concept that we're coming to call DeFitainment, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's the natural way, it feels like, and it seems like, that this ecosystem is going to grow. And I am very for growing this ecosystem. I mean, I believe in, you know, the core tenets of crypto, which is, you know, personal sovereignty and, you know, control. And I don't like banks. I don't like anybody else in charge of my stuff.
Same.
You know, and so, and you know, and I'm a gamer. I like playing video games. You know, I have a PlayStation. I play my video games. If we can merge these things, these two different concepts that I love, and make something even bigger and better and greater and something more appealing and attractive to more people, I mean, that to me just seems like the natural evolution of growing the crypto space. And it's something that I do on a personal level to everyone I can, you know, talk to, and it's something I do, you know, now for a living, and I love it, and I think that it's the future. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I would love to get your thoughts on it as well. Yeah,
so thank you for sharing that. And I have to say, you answered the question very well. Like, how did the NFTs bridge together with the DeFi protocol? It was an elaborate answer, but I mean, you hit the nail on the head. People don't care about providing liquidity and earning the swap fees and earning the native DEX token. Like, the average person just getting into crypto, that all goes over their head. But just like you said, you have friends that haven't touched crypto, but now they're getting into NFTs. Same situation with me. I know many people personally that have made, you know, small fortunes trading NFTs that don't touch altcoins. They don't even know what Luna is, for example, right? So I think it's an ingenious.
Well, I think that's going to be. I think that's going to change. I think that Luna is going to have its time in the spotlight, even more than it has right now. But I digress. I cut you off.
No problem. And by the way, viewers, that's not financial advice, but that's some alpha right there. So Luna, don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it.
No, definitely not.
So I can. I want to address it more tangibly, because I backed up. I went kind of like to talk about the forest, and I'd like to kind of delve down into the trees a little bit.
Please do. This is your interview, so I mean, go right ahead.
Sure. So now, let's look at let's unpack the concept of play to earn. Okay, there's probably a dozen, 24 examples of play to earn in the crypto ecosystem, and every single one of them kind of uses the same playbook. Okay, first of all, you fork Uniswap. It's the first thing you do. So you take an AMM, you fork it, and then you build. You know, if you wanted to be cynical, you would just say, you build a fun looking UI on top of it, and then on top of it you add some extra steps to be a liquidity provider. You know, and that's how people if they want to poo-poo Axie or DeFi Kingdom or some of the other successes in the space, then they'll use some of that derogatory language. But what I really think that's happened when you look at it is that they've recognized that people want an engaged experience on top of pure trading, and that's what a lot of these play to earn platforms have accomplished, or at least have tried to accomplish. Now, what is an AMM? It's an automated market maker. It's a type of crypto exchange. It's today the most popular type of crypto exchange. But it's also a very old, at least from a technology standpoint, everything in crypto is young. But it's a very old implementation of an exchange. And there's a newer implementation of an exchange, which is has many benefits, and that's called a perpetual swap or perpetual exchange. And to address some of those without getting too much into the technical details, is that with an AMM, in order to provide liquidity, you need to put in 2 tokens, which means that you first need to own both of those tokens, which means that you need to be exposed to the price movement of those tokens.
Right.
Now, as a market maker, I might not necessarily want to be exposed to the price movement. I just want to make money on trading volume. But on an AMM, I'm forced to buy the tokens and then to put the 2 tokens in. Second issue with an AMM is that I suffer something called impermanent loss, which again is a highly technical finance concept. But to whittle it down, what it means is that if you put in those 2 tokens, if one of them goes up a lot in value, you actually the exchange that you deposited money into will sell off the more expensive one and give you more of the less expensive one. So you end up with a financial loss because you decided to be a market maker. And then the third issue with AMMs is that they're not capital efficient because you need individual pairs. So if I had token A and token B, I need to put that in a pair. If I have, now I introduce token C, if I want A and C to be able to trade with each other, I need to have twice as much token B in the middle so that it can act as like a buffer between it. So it's not very capital efficient, which means that any fees that are being shared need to be distributed to a larger, you need to lock up more capital just to create the same amount of fees. So the transitive aspect of AMMs creates capital inefficiency. And then then there's 2 more failure points really within AMMs. One is that you can only trade on an AMM assets that were previously tokenized on that blockchain. So if I'm on Terra, because we're big Terra bulls, not financial advice, but we're on Terra. If we want to trade Solana, then we can't just do it. We can't be market makers to trade Sol. We can't be we can't where we can't hold it in our wallet, or where we can't trade it. We can't go to Astroport or to TerraSwap, which are 2 of the exchanges on Terra. None of that is helpful to us until somebody comes and creates either a synthetic or a wrapped Sol, and that might take months. You might have a token that exists somewhere else out in the blockchain, and it could take months or years before it actually comes to the place where you're doing your trading. And that's just a fault of AMMs, that they're limited to things that were previously through other projects minted on that same blockchain. And then the last problem with AMMs is that you have 2 options: either own the token or don't own the token. You can't own leverage exposure to the token, and you can't own short positions against the token. So perpetual swaps, again, I'm not going to explain how perpetual swaps work. There's other podcasts where I've gone into technical details, like you might look at the Terra winter or the Terra autumn series that I'm on with Delphi. I get into details of how they work, but perpetual swaps as a technology solved all of these issues. You can literally have any asset traded on a perpetual swap. You can go long or short. You can be spot or you can be leverage. You can have 10x exposure. You could potentially have 100x exposure. And the best part is that you can have exposure to assets which are not necessarily tokenized on the blockchain that you're trading on. So as a technology, and the last part, which is one of the best parts, is that somebody can be a market maker to a perpetual swap just through stable coins. So there's no impermanent loss. There's no need to be exposed to any of these assets. You just put in stable coins, and then now you're a market maker. You're providing liquidity to the exchange, usually through the risk fund or sometimes an insurance pool. And so again, now back up is that we looked at the fact that every single play to earn is built on an AMM. And so we asked ourselves, perpetual swaps are a much more powerful technology and much more flexible and versatile and much more lucrative than an AMM. What would it look like to design a game not on top of an AMM, which has all these limitations, but rather to design it on top of a perpetual swap? So now you could create many different types of quests. You could create many different types of earning opportunities. And then and it could be much more flexible than any of the play to earn experiences and potentially higher yields than any of the play to earns that were built on AMMs. Now, if you say, okay, that's very interesting. Now, that it needs a lot of active traders on it. So where do we get these active traders? Well, what if instead of using visuals like green and red candles and a complicated interface, what if the perpetual swap exchange was designed as an adventure game, as a game with a story, as a game that could appeal to 1 million people in Vietnam, into 5 million people in the Philippines, into 10 million people in Europe. So now, instead of being out 2 years later, where you are your synthetics or your some of these other exchanges, Future Swap, MCDEX. I mean, they're all great projects, and I know that I've had many interactions with these founders, and they're brilliant people, much smarter than I am. But if you look at the product market fit, they never got it. And so what we're looking at is not how do we build a product to appeal to the 10,000 crypto bros that are trading on perps or are aping into projects or are market makers on AMMs today, but how do we build the crypto product that's a gamified play to earn perpetual swap that's going to appeal to 100 million users? And how do we bring them into crypto? And how do we get them excited about what's happening here? And how do we keep them around the table beyond that jump and spike of high APYs? Because if you don't solve that problem, then you're just digging your own grave that every other DeFi protocol has been digging for the last 2 years.
Yeah, that was very elaborate. And, you brought up that you guys, Delphi Digital, Delphi Labs, for example, and some other big projects, a lot clearly went into Levana. And
the Delphi guys were, it's funny because they designed a lot of the math behind perpetual finance and a bunch of the other like really core technical perpetual systems, perpetual exchanges that are in the market today. And then they also were very critical at Axie Infinity's success. And Levana is incubated by the Delphi team, which means that we have access to the big brains that were responsible for both of these industry successes, sitting there, throwing balls against the walls, smoking a joint on the roof, thinking like, what would happen if a new type of creature existed in the world? And that's what we call DeFitainment.
Beautiful. Well, you just kind of opened up a can of worms right there. We already talked about basically what DeFitainment is, bringing NFTs, bringing mass adoption into DeFi. And yeah, I mean, the fact that you guys are incubated by Delphi is a huge plus. Delphi, I got into reading their reports over in 2020, and I've learned so much from them, and clearly they lead the industry when it comes to basically market research, incubating projects. So you have that stamp of approval, and then you have obviously yourself and the team. So something big is being built here. And now let's talk about DeFitainment and the play to earn aspect as well. You mentioned the perpetual swaps. You can bring in things that have nothing, that are not tokenized on the blockchain yet, and you can make play to earn aspects with that. So how will you be incorporating, first of all, the dragons, the meteor dust, the dragon riders with all the different outfits? How are we going to be able to earn basically an income, I guess you could say, with Levana?
So it's a great question, and a lot of it is going to be determined by the community itself. That's kind of the point of having a DAO, and why it's such an emphasis on the Levana DAO. There's a lot of great interesting thoughts and implementations that have come out of research from the core team, and then from the investors and incubation that's like around the table. So I don't want to I'm going to touch on some of it, but to some extent I'm going to be a little bit vague on purpose.
Perfect.
Now again, to come back to at a high level, the first goal is build a highly dedicated community that is interested and emotionally connected to a project. And I think that Levana has achieved that. And there's 20,000 or 22,000 core followers on Twitter. Not a dime was spent to acquire those.
Right.
And then on Discord, again, it was, there was no, there's all these bots and services you can get.
Yeah.
It brings you fake users, or it brings you, they go out and they just, I'm sure you've gotten it,
Of course.
every day I'm
Yeah.
blocking 20 different people that are trying to tell me about some new project.
Mm-hmm.
None of that ever existed on Levana, but just naturally through word of mouth. The community grew to 8,000 members, and over 6,000 of them actually participated in the meteor shower. That ratio of members to people that actually put their wallets where their mouth is,
skin in the game,
at least from all the projects that I've seen, has never been duplicated. To have 6.3 thousand out of 8,000 to actually participate, you just don't get those numbers in the NFT space today. Usually you have to get, to get 6,000 people to participate in an NFT drop, you need 60, 70, 80,000, people in your Discord in order to get those numbers. But most of it's just fluff. It's just people kind of trying to look to flip or, get on a whitelist. There was also no whitelist. Mm-hmm. Now, the goal here was to create a highly engaged community, and then to position that community where they would be able to make DAO decisions. Now, I'll be vague about exactly how that works.
Okay.
But imagine that the NFT community can now participate in decision-making. One is decision-making about how the game's going to work, how the fees are going to be collected, what's going to happen with the fees, how the emissions will be distributed over the next 4 years, and how the initial airdrops or initial distribution of the governance token. It's I see that there's a very interesting dichotomy, I guess that's the word, within the how the U.S. government was built. That there's two houses, and one of these houses is where the bigger of a whale you are, the more voting power that you have, the more seats that you have, and then so it's what is it? It's the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
So so in one of them, each state gets 2 seats, and then in the other one, the number of seats that you get is based on your population, which is also a derivative of how much taxes that are paid and and how much voting rights that are given. So these two houses kind of balance each other out. So the section where everybody that participates essentially has 1 vote, or in America it's 2 votes. That's very similar to what it would look like on chain to create on-chain governance with an NFT, where it's my NFT and your NFT can essentially they're both just one NFT. So there's been a lot of brainstorming about what governance looks like to have a community that's outlined by NFT holders, and by governance tokens. Governance tokens are liquid. They're great because they can be they can be staked, and it's very easy to have emissions on them. They can be burned if there is if the DAO becomes underwater because of it acquires debt, like what happened to MakerDAO about a year ago. MakerDAO went into debt because of congestion on the Ethereum platform. So they actually they minted and then sold extra MKR tokens and then used that to cover the debt. It was about $4 million of debt. I don't know if you remember. It was middle of March. I think it was actually now 2020, if I recall. But the by creating a core community that's highly engaged, that there's a strong overlap between the token holders and the NFT holders, means that you can leverage the NFTs very intimately within the DAO, and then subsequently within the DeFi protocol. And then you can allow for the community to make proposals, voting proposals, that then will augment the authority, the attributes, the functionality, and the benefits that are designated to NFT holders. And we're very excited to see how the community is going to take up this challenge. We've already created a section on the Discord, which is a private section that you have to verify your wallet and show that you are an NFT holder. And that is really like the proto DAO that will be launched as a full on-chain DAO. So if you are an NFT holder, I highly suggest that you go into our Discord, that you verify your wallet in the NFT verification section. It only takes a second. I don't think it costs anything. If it does, it costs a few pennies to do the cost of gas on an on-chain transaction. And then to come and to participate in the early stage governance, which is already occurring today. And I don't want to spoil it, but there has been just amazing and really brilliant contribution of ideas as to how to integrate NFTs into on-chain governance that have come purely from the community, through those conversations.
Okay. Well, thank you again for that, elaborate description there. And you mentioned a lot about a governance token. So there will be a Levana governance token. What's the timeline for that?
So right now we're designing some of the nuance of the both the airdrop, so the logic of the airdrop, and the liquidity bootstrapping. So similar to our partner company, Astroport. Astroport performed liquidity bootstrapping, which is where funds funds don't come into the company. Funds rather come directly into liquidity that allows for the token to be liquid. Because what's one of the biggest problems with new tokens coming to market is that the float is very low, meaning there might only be 5 million tokens, 10 million tokens, 20, 50 million tokens on the market. But with such small numbers, it means that that there's incredibly high volatility. That prices, one person coming in and one whale coming in can spike the price up 3x, and then another whale dumping can drop it down 80%. So in order to avoid that, this is actually an implementation that was originally created by Balancer on Ethereum, but then was ported over to Terra, and then was implemented by White Whale. They did a similar version, and then there was an augmented version by Astroport, which succeeded in bringing billions of dollars of value to the token, the Astro token. So the way that it works is like this. First, there will be an airdrop, and the details of the airdrop of the Levana token have not been shared, because there's a lot of concern that there would just be too much gamification. And the idea isn't to do something for whales. The idea is to do something for the core community. And then the token will be airdropped, and that's happening please God, in around, let's say, a month, give or take some change. I don't want to give too much info as to when the snapshot will be taken, but at some point the snapshot will be taken, and then there will be an announcement as for when the actual airdrop will occur. And then you'll go to a website, which will be at levana.finance, and that will allow you to claim your airdrop tokens, and then the ticker is LVN for Levana.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have two choices. You can walk away, presumably to just dump the free money that you got,
mm-hmm.
which is totally reasonable. Lots of people do it. Or you can take the red pill. You can go deeper down the rabbit hole, and you can join us on the adventure that we're building, which is something that's new to the space, that has brought together some of the most brilliant minds within all of crypto to create an experience that we believe will be the first one to achieve not just tens of millions of participants, but hundreds of millions of participants through a highly immersive narrative, storytelling, quest, adventure built on top of perpetual swaps. And the way that you'll participate in that is that you will deposit the airdrop that you got into the bootstrapping protocol.
Mm-hmm.
You will deposit an equivalent amount of UST, which is the algorithmic stablecoin, the only successful algorithmic stablecoin in the whole market, the whole crypto market, which is built and powered by Terra. And then you will take those two tokens, and then you'll agree to lock it up. You could lock it up for 2 weeks. You could lock it up for 6 months. You could lock it up for a year.
Mm-hmm. Obviously,
the more that you lock it up, similar to the curve model, the more that you lock it up, the more rewards that you'll get. The more the more total that your airdrop amount would end up being. And we're excited to see the community really embrace this. That they will not want to just walk away and just dump the token, but rather that they will want to participate in this experiment, to participate in this journey, to participate in the quest, and to see how you can create something new that can have mass market appeal to not just the Terra ecosystem, not just the whole blockchain or crypto ecosystem, but to a global landscape. Through a play to earn experience that involves leveling up. Now that's how the token is going to come to market. Now, once the token comes to market, there's going to be a time period where we're actually going to, we'll first end up releasing the leverage tools, the LLI, the leverage index, the leverage capsules that I had mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be released, and you'll be able to trade it, and you'll be able to trade from Luna to X. And we'll release the perpetual swap platform, and it'll look just like every other perpetual swap platform, and it'll act just like every other perpetual swap platform.
Mm-hmm.
And that will have its traders, and it'll have its speculators that will trade on it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the background, what we're going to be building is a series of interactive mini games, which are going to utilize and leverage the NFTs. And all the while, the fees that are collected through the DeFi protocols will be funneled into the DAO, and then the DAO members will be able to vote on what happens and how those are allocated. And then our magnum opus, which is an adventure game, a high quality adventure game. So this will utilize. This will become a deflationary suction for the rewards from the liquidity providers to the perpetual swap application. So
right.
Whereas with most DeFi protocols, you have liquidity providers. The liquidity providers receive tokens as emissions, and then they go and they just dump those tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, we will be acquiring users from the play to earn space from all over the world, bringing in millions of users that will be educating themselves on how to participate in DeFi through this form of gamification and through this form of storytelling. They will become liquidity providers they will receive rewards in the Levana token, the LVN token. And then instead of dumping those tokens, they will then take those tokens and then bring them back to the gaming experience, which brought them there in the first place. And then they'll be able to level up. They'll be able to unlock new elements, like new forms of magic dust. They'll be able to increase their spirit level.
Mm-hmm.
They will be able to grow their companion to become go from a baby dragon to become a badass, full-blown dragon, and then they will subsequently become the dragon riders. And then
Right.
as you level up in the game, so then we hope that there will be a high pollination, a high overlap between the decision makers within the DAO and the players within the game, so that as you level up in the game, that has impact on your stance within the DAO.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm being vague on purpose, but we see that as long as we can maintain this high synergy of communities, then we're going to create something that has a deflationary pressure, like a black hole, where all of these tokens that are being, where the more players that come in, the more LVN that's going to be needed. And then the more liquidity that's provided to the DeFi protocols, the more emissions that are going to be captured by the players of the games.
Mm-hmm.
And then the players of the game, instead of just dumping the tokens, are now going to reinvest that back into the playing experience, thus burning massive amounts or locking up massive amounts of LVN tokens, thus creating deflationary pressure. And now you have a symbiotic relationship with the tokenomics system, where the more people that come into the platform, the more demand that there is for the governance token and the NFTs, and then the less supply and availability that there is into the market. And then at that point, market forces will perform, at least we anticipate, how they have, for thousands of years, when supply and where demand increases and supply decreases.
Yes. So what you're telling, the 26 or 30 people watching right now and everybody watching the replay is that basically you guys are building a protocol that will be utilized by millions of people, and right now we have the opportunity to be early adopters. Is that correct?
I mean, you can't the thing hasn't launched yet. Well, that's not true. I mean, the whole vision, the next 2 years is very loosely mapped out, and then is becoming refined, rapidly. And then it's also becoming refined with the voice of the community. So what I would say to not only are the people that are listening to this, hella early. I mean, you're like, you can't get earlier than this, but you are requested to have your voice heard, to come and be a part of this. Don't just have it be, don't just be a passive participant. Join us, join the DAO, and then help pave this future, because we're building something that, as a scope, I don't think any other project in the space currently has.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, that's why I even started my channel in the first place, is to increase the adoption of crypto, because I understand the potential of the technology and it's going to take over the entire world. So I'm doing what I can to onboard more people, and that's why I've made Levana videos in the past, because I can kind of see that this is going to be huge. So yeah, great job so far. And obviously it's a loose idea as you described it right now, but it's coming together rather quickly. And obviously we got nesting for the dragon eggs happening soon. So I'm sure a lot of our viewers right now are wondering, we have questions in the chat like about a metaverse. Are you guys building a metaverse? Maybe kind of touch on basically the plans with, you mentioned a big game towards the end of that description you just gave us there. So any metaverse plans, anything to touch on there?
So metaverse it's a funny term, it's very in vogue and it means different things to different people at different times. But we want I don't know if a multi-metaverse, I'm not even sure. The thing that's in our head doesn't even have a name yet.
Okay.
But it probably will have a name. And if what you're asking is, will there be a virtual world where NFT assets from Levana will be able to be used by players represented as avatars that they can customize, that they can level up, that they can experience, that they can go on quests, that they can play together as teams, as factions, where factions can compete for limited resources and for prizes and for emissions from the DeFi protocol. Yes, absolutely. That is part of the roadmap. That's part of the vision.
Beautiful.
And even better is it's going to be extendable and expandable by other teams. So other teams will be able to bring their creations and augment the experiences that are initially created by the Levana team, in order to create new use cases that are impossible to have been thought of by any one individual team. So yes, first question, there will be metaverses, but not only do we want to build our own metaverse, so, you know, air quotes around metaverse, but we want to make sure that we partner and synergize and incentivize incorporation with other experiences. So we're huge fans of Galactic Punks, and we know the Galactic Punks team very well. We've had we've gotten to meet in person. We've had a bunch of calls. We love the variety that they've created. We love that the community that they've created, and so we're excited to ensure that the dragons that come from Levana will be able to integrate and to work into the expanded universe that's being developed by the Galactic Punks team. And then as other popular projects come to Terra, and there's there's a very close relationship between Terra and Solana, so I can see that bridge. And then also Terra is built on Cosmos, so integration with other Cosmos ecosystems as they mature and they gain users, that we want Levana Dragons to feel comfortable and to feel at home in all of these ecosystems.
Yeah, I mean, this is very exciting stuff right here. What you're describing sounds like the most breakthrough, revolutionary crypto protocol project that I've really ever been a part of, and you guys do have the manpower and obviously the brains to pull this one off. So I'm excited to be a part of the community. So I mean, listen.
Well, I wish Elon and I could take credit for this. Very little of the creative thought or innovation has come from that's the fun thing about being on the marketing team. Is that you don't have to be like the big brains. You just have to talk a lot, and then everybody thinks you're smart.
It's a perk.
Yeah. But yeah, like Jonathan is saying, I mean, the team is just really chock full of interesting people who have really good, solid backgrounds, that come from places that that they've accomplished things, and they're working very, very hard to accomplish something really, really big here. And that's just like you were saying. I mean, this project it's very ambitious and but I mean, you can see it's happening. I mean, the community is strong and the artwork is beautiful and the concepts are very high, but we are trying to do something, I think, breakthrough, revolutionary, and bring in the next million users to DeFi. And like you were saying earlier, Connor, I mean, that's our goal. I mean, we want crypto, and we want all of these things to happen, and the team is really really solid. I mean, really, really smart devs, really, really smart operational people, and it's also distributed. It's around the world. People volunteer all the time. I mean, this is the first place I've ever the first project I've ever been a part of where so many people reach out and want to be a part of it and just donate their time and energy. And for example, different language communities, they see what we're doing, and they want to help, and that's awesome. It's super awesome to be a part of something like that, and it helps. Every bit helps. Every person helps, and the community is there's lively chatter all the time in the Discord, in the Telegram, on Twitter. People I've followed for a long time are noticing us, and it's awesome. It's really, really cool. It's a really cool thing. And yeah, this is a once in a, for me, I mean, it's a once in a lifetime project that's really trying to do something new in the space. I mean, and do it on Terra, which is an amazing, place, an amazing community. I mean, the lunatics are incredible.
Number
They're
one community, hands down.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. It really doesn't compare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things that attracted me. Besides just the elegance of Terra and Luna's interaction, like UST to the Luna token, and the community around Terra is really what attracted me. And then being built on Cosmos, it was like a no-brainer. I see here there's some. You sent an email with some other questions. I know we're a little short on time, but I'd love to just run through some of these questions if that's okay with you.
Please do. You have the floor.
Okay, so so what was the inspiration behind the theme of dragons for your NFT? I mean, Elon, take that one, please.
Sure, I would love to. So dragons are, first of all, super cool. But dragons, the concept of them fits with what we're building. And what we're building is a decentralized, trustless leverage trading platform. So dragons kind of have this dual nature to them, to different cultures. Like in the Eastern lore, in the Eastern culture, dragons very much are friendly. They bring luck. They bring fortune. They grant wishes. They give treasures. They are this supernatural, ally, for anyone who's just, happens to come across a dragon. It's amazing, wonderful thing. In Western culture, the culture I grew up in, dragons largely, they're the villain. They're out of control. They do all these things like steal your princesses or burn down your village or sit on a pile of gold. So they have kind of a more negative connotation. And that's almost like leverage trading. I mean, leverage trading, it can be the best thing in the world. You can make a boatload of money if you know what you're doing,
right?
And you'll feel like you're on top of the world. Or you don't know what you're doing, or you make a bad trade, or you over leverage yourself and the market dumps, and then you lose your shirt, and that's unfortunate. But that's also kind of that dual-sided nature of if you want the highs, you got to prepare to suffer the lows, just like in the regular crypto world as we're experiencing right now.
Yep.
So what we're building, this leverage trading platform, it enables users to be granted these strategies to gain wealth faster than traditional strategies or non-leveraged strategies, which is the magical part. On the other hand, if things go wrong, if there's a huge market dump, I mean, part of what's really cool about the exchange that we're building is that we're going to make it so that there are public incentives for people to rebalance the leverage basket. So again, without getting too technical, but it's almost like a more friendly version of a leverage trading platform, maybe even more of a gamified version of a leverage trading platform. But at the end of the day, if the market suddenly dumps 50% in 2 minutes, the dragon is going to burn your house down.
Right.
And so the dragon, it really kind of has that dual-sided nature that that trading with leverage kind of brings as well. And the dragon is like a symbol. It's the duality of ups and downs. And also, dragons, they need us to think about them. They need us to imagine them, right? And you have to be a
bit of a dreamer.
A bit of a dreamer. That's a good way of putting it. A really good way of putting it. So that's it. We're dreamers, and we're building something here that has the potential to do something amazing for you, and gamified and everything. And at the end of the day, though, it's a leverage trading platform. That's what it is, and a perpetual spots platform. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
I'm juiced up. I'm excited, man. You definitely answered the question.
So we have here, how will, we talked about how we will cooperate with other projects. Because we're incubated by Delphi and Mars Protocol, which is a lending protocol that will be launching soon. So our first product is built on top of them. And then the rebalancing is built on top of Astroport. We're very friendly with many of the other teams within the Terra ecosystem. So our goal is there's no such, our position is there's no such thing as competition. There's no such thing because nobody has the 7-year plan as us. So even if you're building a lending platform, you're building whatever it is that there's got to be ways that we can work together, that we can help each other, that we can support each other. So absolutely, we've spoken to at least 50 other teams building on Terra, and we always go into every conversation as saying, how can we help each other? And that's been just people. It's also why I love Terra, because it's really the only community that I found today that really maintains that synergy, cross-pollination. So next question, will there be more NFT mints for Levana in the future? So yes, there will be. There will be, I promised some of the product team and the DevOps team, and that we won't commit ourselves to another 44 meteor shower, because that was just too much. So many people on the team stayed awake for 3 days straight. It's not very healthy. It was very stressful. It worked. Nothing broke. So there won't be a 44-hour shower, but there will be other NFTs in the future. But there will also be derivatives NFTs, meaning just like how you took the meteor and then you cracked it and then you got magic dust or an egg, and then the egg becomes a nested egg, and then the egg becomes genetically modified egg. So all of that will happen, and those are new NFTs. But then there will also be new NFTs where you'll be able to take dust and mix it together to be able to craft new types of things. So yes, there will be a lot of other NFTs. And if you nest, then you also get the new mystery NFT, which is actually talismans, which I'm not going to talk about on this podcast. Maybe after we get a chance to have the nesting go live, and then people will play with, they'll see the gamification that we've designed around the talismans, and how we're using that as a community driving event, that they'll see kind of like some of the vision that we have for the future NFTs.
Awesome.
So what function will the Dragon NFTs play in the ecosystem? I think we spoke about that at length. How will the difference in rarity of the dragons and the items affect the gameplay? So this is, I don't want to reveal too much, but we do recognize that, some people put a lot of effort and even a lot of just cash in hand on the primary market, on the secondary market, getting those legendary eggs, getting those, that legendary dust, finding it. So that obviously, our job is to, what is Levana? Levana is adventure. That's what we create. We create it through trading, which is very exciting and adventurous. And the most adventurous type of trading is leverage trading. And then we create adventurous experiences within NFTs, within gamification, within play to earn. So we want to make sure that everybody that participates feels that adventure, and whether or not you came in as a minnow or you came in as a whale, that you should feel nothing but a positive experience, and then feel that the adventure that we created was custom tailored for you and for the assets that you have, whether it's common or it's legendary or it's anything in the middle.
Beautiful.
What functions will the DAO play besides voting and governance? So they'll also manage the treasury, which will grow. There will be there's an initial treasury which is designed to manage the operations and to help with operational costs, and then to ensure that partnerships are incentivized. Like there's today, there's a part of the treasury which is being negotiated to bring on guilds. And that's what it's designed for.
Okay.
But the long-term treasury, the one that's going to be created, that's collected from fees, so that's going to be completely controlled by the DAO. And so that's, I think, the most interesting thing that the DAO will have, that they will be able to decide, which is through voting and governance, as to what happens with all the fees that are collected. Next question is, how can one determine the spirit level of their dragon egg? So that's an easy one, and I will leak a little bit of alpha here. That's part of what happens in nesting. When you nest, it reveals the spirit level found within your egg. It combines it with the spirit level of the dust that you used to create it. Now you own an NFT that actually has spirit level contained within the metadata. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, play the game as what we've built so far, and you'll easily understand what I'm talking about. Why is there no 3/4 dust volume? That was just whatever. We had to decide. There's quarter bottles of dust, there's half bottles of dust, and there's full bottles of dust. Maybe we should have also made 3/4, but we decided, you know what? It's really easy to just use quarter half to make 3/4. Mm-hmm. So it was just decided for simplicity to cut out the 3/4. Maybe that was a mistake, maybe not, but it's fun anyway. How will 2x leverage trading incorporate into NFTs and games? I think we addressed that. What kind of game will it be? A simple runner turnstile game or more advanced? We're definitely going for a more advanced gaming experience. There's going to be a series of mini games. There's going to be comic books. There's going to be a novel. There's going to be quests to compile the novel and to mint and to craft the novel NFT from within the game. So if you like reading stories about if you liked Dune, if you liked Aragon, if you liked Harry Potter, so then you're gonna like the Levana the book, because it's that those are the inspirations that helped us create to create this the underlying story, and the game as one of the games that we love to play. So we love to play Skyrim, we love to play we love to play Magic the Gathering, we love to play Zelda, mm-hmm. We love Mario. So these are the types of gaming experiences that are the inspiration when it comes to creating a gaming economy and creating gaming experience, like user experience around gaming. What's the timeline for Levana for 2022? So we actually have a roadmap, which is published in our December end of the year 2021 report, which you can take a look at, and it pretty much outlines many of the things that we talked about on the call here today.
Yep.
The upcoming airdrop, the mini games, the LLI, the perpetual swaps, nesting, which is about to go live, genetic modification of your dragon, hatching of the dragon, raising the baby dragon, and then more robust gaming experiences that will come to market. Cool. Factions is something that is currently being designed by some of our game designers, and it's just amazing the stuff that they've come up with. How was the project conceived, and how did the team come together? I'm going to save that for a different podcast, because
we'll have to get you back on.
Conversation right there.
We'll have a part 2.
What's that? Yeah, part 2.
We'll have a part 2.
And then, how will the play to earn aspects of the game work? I think we talked about. And will you be launching a native token? Yes, it will be called LVN, which is short for Levana, and Levana means adventure. And in order to get that, you have to receive it initially through an airdrop. Or if you weren't lucky enough to get the airdrop, you can always come once the airdrop happens. So then there will be a 2-week period where people who got the airdrop will be able to optimize their airdrop rewards. But even people who didn't get the airdrop will be able to come in, will be able to provide liquidity to the bootstrapping, and then in exchange for helping us provide liquidity to the bootstrapping, you will receive for free rewards of LVN tokens. So it's open for anybody. This isn't a whale game. At least that's how we're designing it. We're hoping to get tens of thousands of people to come in and to participate have your Terra wallet ready. If you don't know how to make a Terra wallet, there's blog posts in our Discord channel.
Or watch my videos.
Explain it. Or yeah, absolutely watch Connor's videos. I think we actually have one of your videos linked in our podcast, in our blog posts. You have one about how to install it, and then also how to also bridge from Ethereum, right?
I believe so. I have a lot of my Luna staking tutorial is very popular as well on YouTube, and that shows you how to make your Terra station. So
yeah, I think yours is. I'm like 99% sure, and if it's not, then Elon, let's make sure that his videos are linked in our articles.
Appreciate that.
And then I know I've watched them before, and I've sent them to friends that wanted to participate in the medium. I mean, you've got the best content.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And then that's so when the airdrop is announced, please follow us. It's Levana_protocol on Twitter. You can join the Discord. You'll know exactly when it happens because there will be a big marketing push. Elon and I will make sure that happens. And then whether or not you get the airdrop, you'll always be able to participate in the liquidity bootstrapping, and then make sure you just have UST, which is Terra stablecoin, on hand. You'll be able to provide that liquidity, lock it up. The longer that you lock it up, the more the more Levana tokens that you'll earn. And because it's there's no we didn't want to do an IDO. What is an IDO is where you create a waiting list, you get people, they all fight over the token, the token goes through these huge spikes and then these huge dumps. Mm-hmm. The people who did get on the waiting list versus the people who didn't get on the waiting list. We're not interested in any of that shtick. What we want is something that's fair for anybody that can come in. There will be a 2-week-long waiting, a 2-week-long period. It'll be calm. And then the liquidity pool will be live, hopefully with a bunch of contributors. It'll have lockups, which means that it'll minimize the amount of spikes. And then people who missed out on that 2-week period will be able to get it off of Astroport, in a true DeFi fashion.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to everything. Did we cover all those questions on that list?
I think we did, and it just ends with best regards, Connor from Crypto Empire.
There it is. So, I mean, yeah, you answered pretty much all of my questions this live stream. If anybody in our audience right now wants to leave a quick message, I mean, we've been going for, an hour and 26 minutes, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know you're very busy. So, yeah, with that being said, if anybody has any questions right now in our live audience, now would be the time to ask. And definitely, if you're not already following Levana on their Twitter account, go ahead right now, follow Levana on Twitter. And before we do end everything today, I do want to mention that Levana is generously hosting a Meteor giveaway. And I did post in the Telegram group and on Twitter about that giveaway. So be sure to fill out that Google form if you haven't already. And before we end it, you guys didn't disclose. I don't know if you want to disclose what kind of Meteor you plan on giving one of our lucky audience members today. Rare, ancient, legendary, common. What do you have in store for him?
So we do have so we actually want to give away, we're going to give away a rare, a meteor to somebody that's live here. But also, because we recognize that a lot of people just couldn't make it here. We want to appeal to a global audience. Mm-hmm. That means different time zones. And that was one of the reasons why we stretched it out to 44 hours for the meteor shower.
Right.
There's all these NFT mints that always happen on Saturday. Personally, I turn my phone off on Saturday. I have as like a detox day for the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. And so I always miss the NFT drops because they always are like, it's like if you aren't there for that 6-minute window,
you missed it.
You missed it. So that's always been something that irks me, and that's why we like to think about the people that are going to be watching this tomorrow, or watching this when they wake up
right.
in the morning. So there's also going to be 3 common meteors which are going to be available for the people that like that Connor's fans that like this. that retweet the post of the YouTube link that Connor put up, and then tag 3 friends.
Right.
So if you are a follower of, number 1, you're a follower of Levana on Twitter. Okay. Number 2, you liked and retweeted Connor's post. And then number 3 is you tagged 3 friends in that. So Elon's going to pick out somebody, or he's going to pick out 3 different people that did that, and he's going to send them a common meteor, and then they will have that they can go to the cracking station at meteors.levana.finance and then start participating in the game.
Amazing.
And join the private chat on Discord.
Yeah, join their Discord. That's in the Google form as well, everybody. So if you want the link, it's right in the Google form. And I mean, I really don't have anything else to say right now other than thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on my channel like this and give all of this alpha, really. Like, I mean, you guys have done many interviews, but I'm pretty sure you've shared things that I haven't really heard before today. So I'm very privileged and honored that you guys came and, spoke on the channel. Definitely, as the protocol develops more, we'll have to get you back on for a part 2, like we talked about. I think that would be very encouraging to, keep the whole community up to date and let everybody know the new updates after nesting and dragon hatching does go live, which everybody's excited for. So yeah, with that being said, is there anything else that you guys would like to share before we kind of go about wrapping everything up?
I would like to just say apart from obviously following Levana on Twitter, our blog is really a really good source of information. It's got lots and lots of images of things that are happening, things that are coming, really cool things to see and to read about. So I highly encourage everybody to visit our blog. You can sign up for, you can subscribe to it. It's a Medium blog. And I think the only thing was that we were going to choose one rare meteor winner from this live podcast.
Yep.
So I've been monitoring the chat, and I see everybody commenting and chatting, and it's awesome. And I have someone in mind. I don't know how you want to do it. If I should just say it now, or
yeah, please.
I should.
Don't hold any suspense.
All right, guys. So the winner, I think, should be this person named Daryl Liddell, who's expressed a lot of interest of trying to figure out how to get involved. And I think this would be a great opportunity to give Daryl a rare meteor. Check it out. I mean, the floor price for any meteor is I mean, I won't say, but check it out on randomearth.io or nowhere.art to Terra NFT marketplaces. These are hot NFTs. I mean, for real. So check out the marketplace. But I want to give Daryl Liddell a rare meteor. Daryl, once you get the rare meteor, go to meteors.levana.finance, which is where you can find the cracking station. Crack the meteor, see if you got an egg inside or power dust. And then, once you have those things, you can participate in the next phase of the game, which is really cool. Nesting, which is about to drop. I won't say anything else apart from it's about to happen. And like Jonathan mentioned, you'll get a mystery NFT along with your nested dragon egg. You can participate with other members of the community, trading, buying, selling, your power dust or your dragon egg or your meteor. So Daryl Liddell, put your email somewhere, and I'll send you, or put your Terra wallet somewhere and send it to me. You can send it to marketing@levana.finance, and I'll send you a rare meteor. And LFG, let's do it.
Yeah, congratulations, Daryl. That's awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
So that's it. Thank you so much, Connor. It was really, really nice to be here, and let's do it again.
Absolutely. I had a great time doing this. I learned a lot, and I can't wait for the future of Levana. Obviously, I'll continue covering that here in Crypto Empire, goes without saying. All Terra updates I really like to cover here. So if you're not already subscribed if you want more Terra updates. Nonetheless, shameless plug there. I want to thank you guys one more time for coming out, taking time out of your day to come on here and speak with myself and my entire audience. And yeah, I'm all set. If you guys want to share anything else, I just want to say thank you again and talk to you all soon.
And if you, I would also highly recommend you read the lore, read the story behind it. There's a lot of hidden alpha in the story. We're big, like Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown style fans. Read a lot of mystery novels, so a lot of thought went into hiding information in there that then is going to be relevant, later as this whole experience builds. So the people that took the time to read the lore and know the story, so they're going to have a real advantage as the protocol develops, as the play to earn develops, as the NFTs develop, and as the whole ecosystem comes to a whole.
Beautiful. I'm putting the link to the Levana blog right here in the live chat, just so anybody watching right now or the replay has easy access to that blog. Make sure to follow that with your Medium account. Make sure you're signed in so you don't miss any future updates for Levana. And yeah, read that lore, guys. Get up to date, and like Jonathan said, solve the riddles in there. Maybe you'll thank your future self will thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much for your time. This was an amazing podcast, and I look forward to our next one.
Yep, likewise. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream